Here today.
Seeing you at this time must mean you've already saved up a lot of credit coupons. Or at least enough to skip work. Impressive.
So, now can you tell us about the... Huh?
Leonid and those other pesky broke urchins have all gone to work in the production zone.
We get it, just tell...
So, you know those pipes that make strange sounds? Don't ever, ever go near them at night. Even if you manage...
Something even...
A group of cannibals.
Cannibals?
Every month, they meet a few times in the dead of night. Rumor has it they might be connected to the people that have disappeared, but what's even scary, since they have no way to dispose of the leftover remains.
Paimon might already know what you mean by other forms. So that's what's going on here. Oh, Paimon.
You two look pretty skeptical. I've got things to do too. I suggest you just...
Traveler, can we just trust him on this one? Oh, Paimon doesn't want her blood and flesh entombed here for all eternity? Oh, so that's how you see the situation. Huh. Oh, when will all the secret... Vidok isn't here, but the guys who went to work in the morning are back. Let's go ask them!
Just stay open.
What? What are you saying? You should...
What are you talking about?
Their attitude sure is suspicious. Like they're trying to avoid us. But if they're being so obvious about acting... Oh, this is all getting way too creepy for Paimon. So you mean we still need to... Fielding?
What do you want? Criminals like you ought to be working right now.
We just want to ask you a simple... Have you ever discovered anything odd during your...
Why are you asking about something like that? Whatever happens at night isn't your concern.
Well... Right! We've heard...
Really? I see. But it's not like I'm... And now that you mention it, I recall my colleagues talking about something like that before. They say that strange things tend to happen at...
So, what happens at night on...
And they just conduct regular cleaning of the fortress's drainage facilities. There are 3 pipe cleaning days per month. And it just so happens that today is one of the scheduled days. You can try to confirm the sounds tonight if you want. And if they're real, then I can report the issue to my superiors for it.
Oh, okay. Then we'll keep both
If that's all, then I'll be leaving now. I advise you not to try anything funny, though. Even if I'm not on duty tonight,
Don't worry, we don't want any time added to our sentence. Oh, he left. So what do you think about the pipe cleaning days he mentioned? Right, both are a possibility. But fielding... Paimon knew you would say that. I'm so tired. But we can't sleep yet. They'll be cleaning the pipes tonight, so it's the perfect chance for us to investigate. Whatever. Huh? Traveler? Did you fall asleep already? Traveler, come on, wake up! Oh, it looked like you were just peacefully sleeping to Paimon. Well, what did you see this time? Really? So we're finally starting to figure out what actually happened. Okay, well, it's about time. Careful! We'll get in trouble if the guards catch us. This should be the place.
What? I know you. You were the ones we saw.
Huh. You've got guts showing up here. You know who we are.
You'd better leave now. Ain't nobody coming here.
What'd you say? Yeah, so what if they were? If you push us...
Hey, what's the point of all those...
I don't have to tell you anything. If you turn around, go back to the dormitories and act like you never saw any...
Yeah, scram. Nothing worth seeing here. Huh? What did you say?
Isn't that exactly what Boss said when he left?
Hey, do you know our boss? Whoa. We had no idea our boss was such a... So, did he have you come here to find it?
Oh, so your child's crew here? Seems like he had no problem fitting in.
We're the only ones who heard him say those words when he left that night. So, unless he's...
Wow, those dreams of yours sure come...
We gave him the business for a while and would always give him a hard time when he first came to the fortress of Maripede. But here in the fortress, the strong will always earn respect. He was working the longest hours and racking up wins in the Pancration Ring. You could always see how amazing he was, even when he was teaching us. So eventually, we all...
But one day, he suddenly told us that he had to find a way to... And as his crew, if the boss wants something, then it's our job to get it done. So, we got to work. We just wanted to give him a better chance of escaping on a night...
Oh, thanks to your rumor, nobody would want to come anywhere near here, but has a child already escaped? Why?
Because as far as we know, the pipe he went into, it leads to an abandoned factory area, and even if there were a way to escape from there into the sea, we're still way too deep, but Boss still insisted on going in, so we told him that we'd pretend as if he never existed while he was, and that if he wanted to come back, he should wait for nighttime on a pipe cleaning day. That way, we could meet him here and help cover the whole thing up.
So you come and wait here through the night?
Yeah, but it's been so long now. We already know in our heart...
Is it also...
Nothing could ever defeat Boss or...
Okay. Paimon was just brainstorming possibilities.
All right. Keep quiet and follow us.
The way up from here has been sealed off. It's impossible to get. Boss left by going down from here. It, wasn't full of... Later, we came back, hoping to have a look. That's when it's impossible to navigate.
Do you think Child got trapped by the water?
Not likely. We all know that Boss was an incredible...
Really? Then have him come investigate. Pronto. Just...
It's getting late. We should leave before the god...
Yeah, we learned a lot about what happened. When you said you knew a diver, you were talking about... Why is Child fortunately, though? Now that we can finally relax... It's morning already? Oh, Paimon still needs more sleep. Huh? Wait, look over there! Isn't that... It's one of Linny's cards! Let Paimon see what's written. Maybe you haven't heard, but today is the monthly free day. Everyone has the day off today, which makes... It's been a while since we last talked. Have you been making any progress lately? Let's meet at our usual... Ooh, today's our lucky day. We have the day off. From the sound of it, Linny's been making progress. We still have some time? There's a group of people over there. Let's go listen in.
So I said, that's not a faucet. Hey,
Sorry for eavesdropping. Sounds like you were talking about something
what's the matter? They're just...
hey, don't pretend like it's okay for them to just interrupt us like that.
You hear that, Quinn?
Your expressions tell me you're looking to hear some juicy info, am I right?
Really? Are we...
You're kidding. How often does anyone get a personal tour led by His Grace himself? Practically everyone was talking about it.
A little mistake, huh? I like the way you put it. You see, people with a good attitude can...
Your group?
I'm Quisto, and this is Lavaroon. People usually call us the Bombshell Bros, but don't worry. We're not playing with bombs or anything. It's just that our information is always so explosive.
So, you two really like to gossip?
No. You don't get it. Knowing intelligence will make things better for you here. For example, knowing who's working with whom, who has the latest room. Whoa, all this info's worth...
I don't mind him. Quisto's always this way. Just play nice and say something to massage his ego. The welfare meals. Talk about the welfare meals.
Right. That meal we had yesterday was...
Is that so? To tell you the truth...
Oh, so you're the one who made those...
You are correct. Since you like my cooking, I guess that means... Listen, kids. The power structure within the fortress is quite complicated. The overworlders couldn't care less about us down here. You've already met the one person here you should never cross, the Duke, Risley. He knows more than you think. And if he doesn't care about something, then he often doesn't bother dealing with it.
Those who have the Duke's attention get all kinds of special perks. Even better treatment in the...
I know who you mean. It's that Jurier character, right? I don't think there's anything useful about him at all.
But did you know that Jurier was a talented researcher?
I don't care if he was a researcher that could turn dirt into Mora. Once you're in the Fortress of Meripede, you're just an... Speaking of which, the last time I saw him, he was passing by in the corridor with Lorvine. I also heard they started arguing in the library and got...
You mean he hit a woman?
Wow. But that Lorvine's also quite the odd one, you know? She's always gabbing away, got into a fight with a man, and she also...
Wait a second. You know...
Do you think could it be that they're secretly meeting there to go on date?
After all, I do remember seeing Lorvine beat Jurier to a pulp that...
Look! There are some people talking over there! Let's listen in on the conversation.
If you ask me, those pompous parasites on the surface act like they're all a bunch of aristocrats.
Hey, speak for yourself, mate. I'm no dog.
Oh, you think you're special?
I don't...
Hey, how cool would it be if the whole world was destroyed by a giant?
What kind of filthy bilgewater are you spewing? Listen, things ain't so great on the surface, but who says that you have to leave? I've heard that you... Who wants to live in the ruddy open?
And what makes you think they'd want to hire someone like you?
Whoa. Sounds like they're really unhappy about... Speaking of which, Paimon never heard anyone use the words overworld or underworld when we were living up there. That's true.
Hey, you over there? Yeah, you. Say, do you like playing card games? You know, like Genius Invocation TCG?
You TCG players are like mint in the wild, literally sprouting up everywhere.
Hey, come on now. What's wrong with finding fellow Invocation aficionados? All right.
But why would you be looking for people to play Genius Invocation in a place like this?
Whether you're throwing down cards or throwing punches, it's all a competition, isn't it? There are lots of card players here in the fortress. When I saw you, I immediately thought, Hey, even out... Sure.
Great! Since you've been here longer than us.
I thought you would have already heard everything by now. All right, then. Did you have anything specific in mind?
Why don't you pick? We'll let you know if we've heard...
All right. Have you heard any strange rumors? Did you know that they're... Yeah, so you've already met those two. They're quite a pair. They always keep an eye out for the latest happenings and gossip about everything. I heard that they used to be a chef and a bartender before they were sent down here.
Good to know. Do you have any...
Let me think. Oh, did you know that the Duke was also...
Huh?
That's right. The Duke was an inmate. To go from an ordinary inmate to becoming the man of a forbidden zone?
It's just a rumor we've been...
Anything else?
Okay, we've talked to just about everyone, and it's about time for us to go meet Linny. According to the card he left us, we should go meet him in the production zone.
All the world holds dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging.
Work just never seems to end.
Huh? That look in your eyes. You found...
Hey, this is no time to be modest. Just tell him we found a boatload of information.
Oh, as expected of the legendary... Huh. I'd have never guessed that myself. The rumors swirling about this place are unreliable after all. And Master Child probably went missing because he is a harbinger after all. I suppose... Unfortunately, this isn't enough for our final report to Father. We need to find out Master Child's exact whereabouts. Father told me that even though Master Child said he was just coming to Fontaine for a vacation, he actually had some personal reasons. His agenda might be linked to his disappearance.
His escape route is already flooded, so we'll have to task someone with professional diving skills to...
Well, when you put it that way, it's obvious that only
Bingo! Is he around?
He's working today. Coming here as a group would have attracted too much attention. I'll talk to him about it later. It's the least I can do. We're all in this together, so it's only fair for us to... Honestly, I'm far more impressed by you guys managing to collect all this
Collecting information has always been our strength.
Now, let me think. To find out more information, Fremine will have to retrace Master Child, and if he's to do that, he'll have to set out on the next pipe cleaning day at the earliest. That's 6 days from now.
You can even estimate how long it'll take for him to get back?
We've been working together for a long time. We know each other. Traveler, what say you to meeting here 9 days from now? We'll be...
Oh, and there's just one last thing we'd like, though we can just sit back and wait for Fremonet's report on Master Child's whereabouts. Fremonet's no master of disguise. Lynette's still working on getting intel from the other areas, and I'll need to spend some time helping.
What do you want us to do? Will it be hard?
Well, I won't call it easy per se, but I think you'll be able to pull it off. Listen carefully. You'll need to find an excuse to get into the infirmary, and you've mentioned several sketchy-looking people always meeting at the infirmary earlier. So investigate the internal structure of the... But also, there's no need to take risks. My apologies, I just started rambling.
But that's not a bad thing, right? All right, then we'll head out as soon as we fit...
Let's go our separate ways for now, then. Don't forget, we meet here again in 9...
Hey, stay here for now. Paimon will take a... There seem to be several people in town.
Right. I feel like we...
It's not impossible.
So... it's a bit hard to understand them from here. Someone! Please help! He's sick!
Whoa! Are you okay?
Oh my! What's wrong, little one? There's no need to panic. Take a deep breath before you begin. The traveler started complaining of a stomachache, and then nausea, and then collapsed onto freezing limbs, twitching fingers, and pale complexion. Could it be poison? Let me take a look. Please, lie down over here. Don't worry, I'll get you to the bed safely. Here, hold on to my shoulder and walk slowly. You can do it, Travel. Don't apologize. You're sick after all. Now, please relax. I'm just going to do a preliminary checkup on you. My checkup has confirmed that he's not in any... Oh, I'll continue my diagnosis of the patient now. Don't sense serious damage to your organs either. And here? Huh? But based on my initial checkup, there shouldn't... What about here? Oh, I think you just ate something that disagreed with you. That's all. So that's what it is. And there have been other inmates complaining about the food recently. I'll inform our head chef, Mr. Woolsey, of this problem as soon as... Congratulations! The health risk is incredibly low, so you should recover within a couple days. Why don't you take Miss Levine? I'll have to trouble you to help me look after this new patient while I'm gone.
Very well.
And she hopped away, just like that.
Hello. So how are you feeling now?
His stomach ache's really bad. He was stumbling about...
If Miss Sijuin says it's not a serious problem, then there's no need to worry.
But it also looks like...
Well...
What do you mean, that's true? That's really misrepresenting the situation. Though they may have committed crimes and gotten locked up here as a result, they still know a thing or two about medicine, and they...
Yeah, you're right. But did you have to lecture me about it in front of another...
That's correct. Sorry, I got a bit...
Are you two also sick?
We've been sick a while. I come back every once in a while for checkups, and to pick up the medicines Miss... You could say she fancies herself as Miss Sijuin's kid.
Please watch your mouth, Mr. Jurier. Don't forget that you are the primary reason I have frequent heart palpitations.
Hey, don't start arguing now! Please, keep it
release.
Please allow me to end this boring and useless conversation. Oh.
And same to you, Miss Lorvine. Anyway, that was more than enough rest for me, so I'm going to get out of this excess.
He just slowly walked off? Like that?
That's just what he's like. I'm sorry you had to see all of that. I'm Lorvine, and that's... Well, his name is Jurier, but I hope you'll never have cause to remember...
You really can't...
I mean, can you blame me? Look, who would like someone who's as arrogant and obsessed with weird... I'll accompany you two for a while. Miss Zishwin should... No.
I'm back! Did you rest like you promised?
Thank you for getting our medicine, Miss Zishwin.
Did you all cooperate with your bed rest? I trust that nobody got up to walk around. Good. Here, this should be 2 days' worth of medicine for you. Miss Lorvine, I left in a bit of a hurry just now. Do you still remember if we
I remember.
Yellow, huh? I understand. These are yours. Please, make...
All right, then I'll also be on my way now. I hope you feel better.
See ya! I'm going to fill out your medical record now. You're widely known as the Traveler. Those two made quite the commotion just now, so why don't we let the Traveler rest? Paimon can answer the questions instead. So his primary symptom... That's it. All right, then. Is there anything we should know besides the... No, his base constitution is quite good, so I'm sure he'll recover quite quickly after taking the medicine. Please, got it. Paimon will hold... Oh, you're going to take a nap already? We've been to lots of places together. He may look a bit under the weather now, but he's... So you're the best of companions. Well, don't worry. He'll recover soon. You're awake. How do you feel? You slept for a really long time, but we never... Well, now you can go back without a worry in the world. Remember? Thank you, Miss Zishwin! You are something. To be able to fall asleep like that and even sleep talk the entire time? No, but you kept mumbling things along the lines of, Pyron, don't take my... Paimon talked with Zishwin the entire time you were asleep. She seems like she's just a sincere nurse and... Whoa! You really are super thorough. All those...
Hmm? Did you two run into any trouble over the past few days?
No, we just worked our shifts according to the...
We've taken a look at the slip you've sent. Fremine successfully left the grounds via the pipes 2 days ago, and as of last night...
Wait, why is she getting...
You already went above and beyond when you scoped out the infirmary. To put it more bluntly, even if we were to view that as something... Infiltrating a guarded stronghold is a different kind of job from a one-off investigation. We want to avoid... Lynette also felt like you have already taken the first step for us, so she should be the one to...
So that's what Lynette thinks. Oh, Paimon hopes everything's going well for her.
Perhaps that's true. You are both very good people, and we've come to appreciate that more than anyone else. Unfortunately, there's still one thing that could get between us. You've mentioned before that you've had some run-ins with the Fatui. I can understand that feeling, so I assume you're just helping.
Well, everyone could use some more friends. We'll be counting on you to help us in the future.
Since I see you as friends, then it's even more important for us to protect you from any peril. Fremine and Lynette feel the same way. Glad to hear it. Then, let's go check on Lynette before Fremine returns. If everything went well, then she should be wrapping up her investigation right about now.
Is now really a good time to go over?
According to my observations, Sigewinne always spends around half an hour away from the infirmary right before lunch. Lynette knows this as well, so this should be a good time to meet up with her. Also, I'm her brother, remember? It's only natural for an older brother to care about his younger sister's well-being.
Okay, then let's head over right away.
Lynette should be here right now. Huh. Strange.
As expected, Sigewinne isn't here.
No, Lynette rarely deviates from the plan. We agreed that if she were to make changes on the fly, she'd find a way to let me know. Unless...
Let's see if there are any clues around here. We can look while we wait for her.
Okay.
There are some books here and a few... Advanced nursing? These sure are some interesting books. She even has books on understanding people's motivations and feelings.
Seems quite normal to me. None of the beds have any signs of having been slept in.
That's the one Lynette must have used, right? You said she was pretending to be sick.
She would have said her migraine was having a particularly bad flare-up. Generally speaking, which means either the head nurse didn't return the entire time for... Wait, this thing? It doesn't look like it's been disguised that well. The space behind it is empty. From its size, I don't think it's an entrance that is meant to... Could Lynette have tried to get inside? But if that's the case... Let's look around here for some more clues. Don't panic.
Hey, you guys, there's a slip of paper over here.
A slip of paper?
It's right over here. and there's a bunch written on it too. It reads, "Out of respect for your usual practices, I'll use a piece of paper or card as the medium to pass on my message."
This is...
Is that all? The back.
Show me! Now!
That look on your... Would you care to guess where Miss Lynette of the Fatui could be right now? No. Could she have...
Wriothesley... Did he deliberately leave...
Wait, you mean...
Yes, that is a crucial question. Wriothesley, he doesn't do anything without a clear goal or reason. You're not from the same camp as us. You were sent down here by Nervulet, so you have no conflict of interest with Wriothesley. We're a completely different story, though. I'd like to know that, too. Why did he only go... Don't panic, just think everything over. I have to stay calm. This is not like what happened last time. The situation's different now. Wait, you're right. The fact that Fremine was able to leave the grounds...
What does he gain by letting Fremine leave like that?
So he's challenging me and trying to... We never should have sent out Fremine. We had to go through all that trouble to find an opening to sneak him around the guards and into the pipe, and we even thought if Wriothesley let him leave on purpose, then he's probably in a terrible spot now.
Lenny's getting more and more panicked. We have to calm him. Don't be like this, Lenny. Fremine wouldn't have left if we hadn't told you about
No. I'm the leader of this operation, and I'm the one responsible I'll go talk to...
Hey, don't be reckless! Traveler, please...
I simply cannot allow Lynette to be abducted again. I have to go. I'll find a way to...
He's rushed out the door! After him!
Right. I feel like we still have some room to make...
It's not impossible, but it'll require extensive time.
Is that so? Very well.
Is someone?
Pack everything up. Whoever's outside is eavesdropping. They'll probably come in once we stop talking. Someone! Please help! He's...
Whoa! Are you okay?
These two. As expected, they've... What a delightful turn of events. I like smart people, but I... Oh my! What's wrong, little one? There's... Being able to read human expressions is quite the useful skill. Wait! Wait! It's no use. We have to catch up to him. He's already out of sight. How is he so fast? Let's go head him off at Wriothesley's office.
Come out and face me, Wriothesley!
Aren't we at an administrative office space? Why don't you at least try to follow
What did you do to my sister?
I ran into the young miss at the infirmary. I'd heard that she was suffering from quite the migraine, so I decided to invite her over for a cup of tea. I do have some teas in my collection that can work wonders against such an illness.
Stop joking around! Where did you take my siblings?
I have also heard that your performances are quite the spectacle. Miss Lynette would sometimes enter a box filled with water, only maybe she'll appear behind you right now if you were to turn your head.
Is he trying to trick me into turning my head? No, he's probably not looking to attack me right now. All of the hostages are in his hands, and he's even in the mood for small talk. That means you knew we were investigating the infirmary from the start. So you deliberately aroused the Traveler's suspicions and baited us into continuing our investigation, just so that you'd be able... As for Fremine... No, you probably didn't even interfere with Child's escape. You let him go, so you could purge the Fatui members that we had planted into your ranks.
There was no need to do so. The Fortress of Meripede is a pretty pleasant place. Most people enjoy their lives here. The only ones who act differently are those with personal agendas.
You removed our original members and spread the news of Child's escape so Father would assign our team to come down and investigate. Fremine has also fallen into your hands, right? If you're oh so omnipotent and so in control, why—
One correction. Lynette is in my hands right now, but Fremine is not.
He's not. What do you—
Lenny!
Oh, wonderful. Everyone is here, so I'll only need to say this once. Thank you so much for cooperating with me. Eager and to the point, I see. Alas, only Miss Lynette is currently having a cup of the fortresses, although as per your original plan, Mr. Fremine should also have returned to the fortress by now. But he has neither shown up within my gates, nor has he been taken into any—
Wait, you can't mean you locked him outside in the sea?
I closed the fortress's gate to the outside world. That's all.
Fremine's a star diver, so he should be—
No, we're still here, so he definitely tried to find a way to come back for us. So we can't assume he might have made a break—
But why would I do this, you may be asking? To have an audience with you, of course. My intel tells me that Mr. Linney is a great magician, so it's only natural for me to want to have some cards of my own when it comes to negotiating. Besides, I do recall you mentioning to Miss Lynette that you've always wanted to have a face-to-face meeting with the Lord of the Fortress of Meripede.
So, you've been keeping tabs on us before we even said—
Some of my folks just happened to hear a thing or two, that's all. In any case, I was willing to play dumb and turn a blind eye, so we had a pleasant few days playing games together here. But once you started focusing on the Forbidden Zone, all of that changed. Mr. Linney, the cards are stacked against you right now. Miss Lynette is in my hands, and Mr. Fremine is still slowly being pickled out there in the brine. You know just as well as I, you need do but one thing to guarantee their safety. I would like you to contact your superior, and—
You want to see Father? But why should she bother giving you an audience?
Well, if she cares for the well-being of her dearest children, she should have plenty of motivation. I've heard that the bonds between the members of the House of the Hearth are like the bonds of family.
Why did you think Father sent us to handle the Fortress of Meripede? This place is basically a no-man's land. It wouldn't be fitting for anyone as important as a—
Oh, I see. So it's because she doesn't care for my place here. That's such a shame. After all I've amassed—
Was this the extent of your master plan to get to Father? No matter how much pressure you may put on me, I won't allow you to use us to black—
You people really are difficult to get along with. All I'm asking for is a face-to-face conversation. Does she truly have— Mr. Linney, you have one last chance to invite your father—
Lenny!
Instead of asking why I'm doing this, why don't you try to see things from my perspective for a second? From the very beginning, I gave you a warning by cutting off the first few operatives I found, but that only caused you to double down. Had you given up on the fortress then and there, I'd have no reason to want to talk. Mr. Fremine left the fortress on his own, and Miss Lynette tried to pry out my secrets right in front of me. No—
I shouldn't ask Father to do anything—
6.
Wait,
2. Time's up.
Risley!
Negotiations have broken down. Please leave, ladies.
Yeah, listen to the Traveler. If you can't talk to Lenny, can you at least talk to us?
You do realize that I'm only letting you go because of Neuvillette, yes? You're here helping him out, and I've already done my best to stay out of your way. But that doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want. The fortress may be small and remote, but it still has its own set of laws. Then how about this? Those who are capable deserve respect. You've spent quite some time investigating my home turf by now. I'll ask you 3 questions. Answer all of them correctly. And question 1. Regarding the hidden rules of the production zone, what is the truth behind the one about not being allowed?
I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for the half hour just before lunch. But what could Sijuin be? The Fonta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't recognize the real value of coupon. We often see Miss Sijuin observing the prisoners at work near the production zone. It seems Fonta's internal reports suggest that they're starting a new trial of an unnamed and unpackaged product. But the product has to undergo a trial. The research notes said that the Melazine race perceives the world very differently from humans. As a result, according to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took... Fonta's internal reports suggest... We often see Miss Siege... The Fonta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't recognize the real value of... We often see Miss Sijuin Fonta's internal reports the research notes said that the Melazine... According to Collins, the I've been told that the infirmary is always empty. Fonta's internal report... The research notes said that the Melazine rate...
So that's what's going on. The hidden rule of the production zone. People are not supposed to work 3 days in a row, and if they do, they'll get At first we thought this strange meat must have something to do with the people who disappeared. She often visits the production zone to observe the workers' health and makes a note of anyone who has worn them out of her sense of duty as the head nurse, as well as her genuine concern for the workers' health. Sijuin visits the cafeteria right before lunch and cooks. Sijuin has only the best intentions with her surprise gift and doesn't... Unfortunately, Melazines as a race perceive the world differently. The recipients of her lovingly prepared special meals cannot taste the care within and usually just freak out. Are we on the right track?
Not bad. You've uncovered Sijuin's secret and even guessed her intentions correctly as well. It's not all right. Now, there are also some hidden rules in the Pancration ring, including the one that you're not allowed to support both.
I've been told that the infirmary is always empty. Fonta's internal reports suggest that they're starting a new trial of an Fonta's internal reports suggest that they're starting a new trial of... We often see Miss Sijuin observe... The Fonta promoter has been The Fonta promoter has been The research notes said that the Melazine race... According to Collins, the Pancration I've been told that the infirmary is... I've been told that the infirmary... We often see Miss Siege... The research notes said that the Melazine... The Fonta promoter has been... We often see Miss Siege... According to Collins, the...
Paimon gets this rule too. That hidden rule of the Pancration ring is about how, people get scared when they see it because but really, it's just a bottle of the latest yet to be named a blood-red drink. It's no wonder even Fonta's own staff were questioning the company's decision-making. The company, facing backlash from its own staff, decided to try to trial the product. They came to the fortress of Meropide and offered to sponsor the Pancration tournament, the Duke, knowing how valuable coupons are in the fortress, knew that only those who proved their stupidity.
I acknowledge the effort you've put into bringing, although based on your description, that Fanta promoter is a bit too careless with his words. I may just reconsider my collaboration with the company.
All right, and here's the final question. What's the secret behind our head nurse and all of her patients in the infirmary?
Stop your cruel and pointless games, Risley! You know that we haven't finished our investigation, so there's no way we can answer the last question. The thought of sparing Lynette and Fremenane, you'll pay for this! Ah!
Lenny, are you alright?
Oh, close one. I owe you, Sigewinne. That was
It was nothing, Your Grace. Sigewinne, though this gun may look like a toy, it's actually fully functional.
Sigewinne.
Not at all. I am merely a resident of the fortress, and thus protecting it is my duty. When Monsieur Nervulette asked me to come here, he told me that my job would be to take— But if you mean what you just said, then isn't Linny someone you should be looking after as well? Isn't he a resident here just like the rest of us? But I really am just doing what Monsieur Nervulette told me to do. Everything I did, I've done to protect them. Had I not, they would be in— His Grace knows it too, right? Your Grace?
My dear Sigewinne, whatever shall I do with you? Would it have killed you to just—
Well, it's nearly time after all. The way you do things can be truly frustrating sometimes, Your Grace. What are you talking about?
Take me if you want, but let them go.
How touching. Can you just give me one more minute?
Don't be like that, Your Grace.
All right, everyone, calm down. 2 more visitors will be arriving. I'll go get a cup of tea. Miss Sigewinne, I leave Miss Lynette in your care.
You...
I believe I hear footsteps.
Some space, please.
Ah, Miss Clarande. My door.
Fremenane.
What's going on? What is Clarande doing here?
Work.
I'm sorry about shooting you, Mr. Linny. The tranquilizing effect will begin to wear off soon. Please take it easy in the
What happened to Fremenane? Wasn't he diving just outside of the fortress? Why is he looking like this?
A flushed face, an accelerated pulse. He must have consumed primordial seawater.
What did you say?
Please, make some space. I'll need to give Mr. Fremenane a more thorough checkup.
I'll talk to Clarande while you get Fremenane to where he needs to be. Everything else can wait.
How is he?
These symptoms are probably caused by an acute ingestion of a large amount of primordial seawater. Of course, it would be best if he stayed for further observation. Let's leave him here for now, and move him to the Sorry. I am aware that the infirmary may not be your favorite place in the world at the moment.
Why would he ingest a large amount of primordial seawater after leaving the fortress? How could that possibly happen?
Please, look after Mr. Fremenane for the moment. I'll go fetch some medicine and a respirator.
Where is she? How is she right now?
Oh, she just took a nap in an empty room after I tranquilized her. If my calculations are correct, she should also be waking up right around now. You might not believe...
What's that look on your face? I thought I made good time.
Oh, I'm just admiring your punctuality. Had you arrived just a few minutes later, Sigewinne may have been forced to shoot Mr. Lenny again. How's the situation out there?
The water has changed. It's pretty much as expected. The concentration of primordial seawater has increased. I was only out there a short time, so it wasn't too bad. But if one were to stay for any significant amount of time, well, you can see how that—
Where was he when you found him?
The abandoned zone at the end of the pipes. A good distance into the water.
Closer than I thought. He must have recognized it early on and tried desperately to swim back.
Locking the door was necessary. I don't think we could have saved two.
Well, I did try to convince him that I had my reasons. Never seems to work.
It would probably work on Neuvillette. He has a knack for picking out who had good intentions.
It's a bad sign. Want some tea?
Not particularly. If you want to drink some that
Fine, I'd like to get some tea. Want me to get you a—
Might as well then, I suppose. Actually, do you have a towel?
Lenny, are you okay?
I'll be fine. They're all here now. Don't worry about me.
Are you sure? You don't look alright.
My hands and feet are still a bit weak, but that's probably just the—
I'm back, everyone.
Lenny! Oh, Traveler, Remine?
He'll be fine, but for now...
His breathing's beginning to slow down.
Give me a hand and help me get him to the infirmary.
Yeah, I'll take him from this side. Lynette, together?
On it.
Traveler, you seem pretty worried about him. Want to come with us? The Duke and Clarande are gone. They probably went to get some tea. The Duke will explain the truth in just a bit. Miss Clarande will need a break, since she only just returned from rescuing Fremine out of the sea.
He's awake. Fremine, how do you feel?
We're all here.
The infirmary at the Fortress of Meripede, Mr. Fripp. How do you feel? Don't push yourself if...
Traveler. Paimon. The sea. There's something wrong with the sea.
Shh, it's okay.
No, listen to me. This is really serious. There's primordial seawater mixed into the regular seawater. I don't know why it's there. Pipes. Right, the pipes. It's all coming back to me now. I'm in. Seems like this pipe hasn't been used in a long time. It looks abandoned. Where could Master Child be? This mechanism looks like it's been tampered with. Could he have done it? It's getting stuck on something. Seems like I'll have to avoid those obstacles while I turn it. This is where the water starts. Okay. Master Child probably dived into the water. The vegetation here is a bit more sparse. These traces aren't natural. A person must have left them, and recently. I should be going in the right direction. Oh, there are traces here too. I need to keep going. Huh? The traces are gone. But I don't see where he could have gone from here. Wait. What the... My heart is racing, and it's getting harder and harder to breathe. What's going on? No good. I have to get back. They still don't know anything about what's going on. If I turn back right now, I should still be able to make it. I can't die here. This is bad. I have to push on.
So, in other words, the trail you were following vanished, and you had no idea where Master Child could have...
That's right. I tried my best to swim back, but I have...
Miss Clarande brought you back, but we...
Miss Clarande, you say? I must...
You're still too weak for Monet. You can go after you've had some more rest.
Miss Lynette is right. I believe Miss Clarande will stay here as a guest for another few days, so there's no need to hurry.
Guest? Then I can assume...
You should ask His Grace about that. He'll be able to... Yeah, it's about time he actually told us what's going on. Wanna come with us, Liddy?
No, please go on without me. I don't want to leave just yet.
Lenny.
The logical part of my brain is aware that we're safe right now, but I still can't bring myself to...
Understood.
In that case, I'll leave the infirmary to you. The Traveler and I are going to head out for now. As long as you stay in here, I don't think you'll be disturbed.
Thank you.
Excuse me!
I take it Mr. Fremenet's condition has stabilized?
Of course! I wouldn't have left the infirmary otherwise.
I've been expecting those two, but might I inquire?
I wanted to check up on Miss Cloran. How are you feeling?
Mostly fine, I think.
If you don't mind, I'd like to perform another quick physical exam.
All right. Thank you.
Well, want to explain yourself?
Of course, but I'm not partial to the word choice of, where should I begin? How about you
Then Paimon will begin.
No. I just knew they were Fatui operatives sent to the fortress by the Knave. As for their specific goals, I only figured those out as you made progress on your investigation.
You managed to monitor and stay ahead of them even though you didn't know what they were trying to do?
They came here with ulterior motives. I'm quite adept at discerning what that kind of behavior signals. Initially, I thought their goal was just to investigate Child's disappearance. Linny suggested that I had deliberately let him escape, but in truth, I didn't really do anything special to help or hinder him while he was here. Of course, it's inevitable that the Knave would make a big deal out of her fellow Harbingers. I'm also quite curious about where that Harbinger went. So I figured I might as well let the Fatui do their own investigative work. All I care about is the answer.
So you were hoping Linny's group would just do your work?
You make it sound like that's a bad thing. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. I assume that the Forbidden Zone has always been Linny's target, and you got roped into that investigation after running into him. I began to intervene out of concern for your safety, and also to prevent the fortress from becoming entangled in more irksome...
Are the rumors true? That you're also a former criminal?
Why would you put it like that? Isn't staying here all day and serving as the manager of the fortress a kind of sentence unto itself? Another form of prison? I just happen to have some support from the rest of the inmates.
Oh, right! Paimon wanted to ask, who invited...
Me, of course. I paid her good mora to come down to the fortress for some field work. As a champion duelist, Miss Cloran could be considered to be an independent party. I needed to find an exceptionally capable person to help me get through the impending crisis.
And saving Fremene was part of that crisis?
You can think of it like that, yes. Credit where credit is due, that boy is quite adept at diving. Had conditions not been as hostile as they were, he probably would have found the missing Harbinger already.
That's not something you should be asking after. Neuvillette only asked you to investigate Child's whereabouts. All I need to prove to you is that the Forbidden Zone had nothing to do with the Harbinger's disappearance. That should be clear now that you've spoken to Fremine.
But we've already uncovered that there's something wrong with the infirmary, and we've answered a bunch of questions that you threw at us. Isn't it about time that you answer our last question in return?
You make a compelling case.
Yeah, Paimon.
Even if the truth may not be pleasant. Follow me.
Door here? And a whole basement behind it? Huh. You're pretty good at hiding stuff, Risley.
It seems you've forgotten just what kind of place. Stand on the central plate.
Wait, is there a secret mechanism or... Whoa! So, this is the Forbidden Zone? Honestly, for a place so well hidden, Paimon sure doesn't see anything special. What a huge door!
There are 3 such isolation gates in total. Generally speaking, I'm the only one who's allowed. Am I correct to assume you're going to run on back and tell your little Fatui friend?
Well,
Well, I'd advise you wait until you've seen the whole truth of this.
So there's a switch on the side!
Stand back.
Whoa! They all just went up one by one!
Go on, have a look. I've been interested in what lies beyond that gate ever since I assumed leadership of the Fortress of Meripede. Of course, it would be unwise to recklessly open it, but it'd also be risky and negligent to simply ignore. The readings on that dashboard have not budged since the day when I first laid eyes on this place. But over the past year, the needle has crept upwards from its original position, likely because some parameter it's been tracking has changed, if only infinitesimally. Normally, I would have ignored it, but I happened to have some free time when I noticed it, so I investigated. Any guesses what the reading could be tracking? Very reasonable guesses. I've considered both of those as well. Unfortunately, our dashboard is tracking something less ordinary. The temperature should vary with weather and climate changes, so for something that rarely shifts, the water pressure is more likely. We ran a few tests to increase the pressure. Later on, a few more possibilities occurred to me, such as a potential connection with the primordial sea. I began to make a few preparations. Over the past few days, the needle has moved again. With that, and the symptoms that Fremine displayed after leaving the fortress, I can now confidently conclude that the readings represent
the concentration of primordial seawater?
And that is precisely the problem. We're at the bottom of the sea, and now we're surrounded by toxic seawater. Somehow, primordial seawater got mixed in, and the concentration is... Yes.
But forget about the two of us. Not even Novelette knows where the primordial sea could be, much less where we could find and plug a leak. Oh.
Seems like you've figured it out. I believe the primordial sea lies directly beneath this sluice gate. For some reason, the primordial seawater levels have risen significantly, and it's now very close to us. The indicators are now red. Although the gate still stands, some primordial seawater has already leaked out and mixed into the sea. If this continues, soon it will no longer be able to hold back the primordials. Yeah, you know what the legends say. If this place falls, then everyone in Fontaine will be turned into puddle.
But that's just too weird! Why would the Fortress of Meripede be built right above us?
Your expression tells me you think this might be part of a vast, complicated conspiracy. To be honest, you might find the actual... It's just that the secret of the Forbidden Zone had been long forgotten by the nation before I rediscovered it with my research. There's no single founder of the Fortress of Meripede in any traditional sense. What we know about its history has been left when the previous Hydro Archon Egeria ruled the land. All convicted criminals from Fontaine were exiled. The people drove the criminals away like a wolf pack chasing away the banished. The criminals received no sympathy of any kind from the people. They were exiled to the desolate seaside, where they experienced only pain, struggle, and the bone-chilling cold. Some of them began to repent, and prayed to the Hydro Archon, asking if there was still anything they could do. The Hydro Archon took pity on them, and said, "You make..." And so, leaning on the power of the Hydro Archon, they gathered underneath the sea and began to build a fortress. They became a community down there in the deeps. As the number of exiles increased, more and more people joined the community. When the first group of exiles died, they left the yet unfinished fortress to the Hydro Archon continued to lend her support, allowing the fortress and what it stood for to continue growing ever larger. Before long, this dark underwater fortress became... And with that, the people here stopped referring to the fortress as a prison. They saw themselves as repenting sinners who would regain their freedom once they had sufficiently redeemed themselves. But as time went on, people also realized that the fortress was a lonely place. Once they had gotten used to life here, once they had finished serving their sentences, some people left and some others chose to stay. They'd find some idle position and let their withered souls fade away with the ancient sea. After many, many centuries, few people still remember the reason for the fortress's founding. Now they just see it as an integral pillar of Fontaine. Now and again, researchers manage to break one law or another and live out their days in the fortress. I learned all this from an elderly historian.
But now you know every part of that history is true.
Indeed. It's just as the prophecy says. If this gate fails, to be frank, not really. But sadly, that hasn't stopped this prophecy from... Prophecies are troublesome things. Just hearing one will create the first wave of panic. Seeing signs of it will bring about the second, and actually witnessing it in real time, the third. Let's go somewhere else. This is it.
Your Grace, perfect timing. The results from our last round of...
Wait, Jurier, he's not alone!
Huh?
No need to panic, you two. I've already told...
What? After you warned us...
I'm skeptical as well. Are you...
The results speak for themselves, don't they? These two may already know more than you could...
All right then, if Your Grace insists.
They seem harmless enough, so I'll trust them for now.
Well, how about some reintroductions? This is Jurier, one of the highest-ranked researchers from the Fontaine Research Institute. He used to work under Edwin. Good. Saves me a bit of... Edwin's main areas of research were archaeum and gravimeters.
As his assistant, Jurier is quite familiar with them as well. I hired him.
You want to blow up?
What a lovely idea.
Gotta admit, I'm tempted as well.
Guys, focus! Focus!
That taskmaster over there is Miss Lorvine, and is also one of my technical consultants.
Ooh, are they together?
See, everyone keeps asking this question. Are you too sure you're not a couple and just using—
Your Grace!
If I dated her, I'd officially be madder than Edwin.
Jeez, forget I said anything. Follow me.
Whoa, there's another door that goes right up.
Your constant amazement makes it seem like the fortress can do anything.
But Paimon really thinks everything's super cool.
Well, let's spice it up a bit. And here you go.
What a huge ship! This is also a production zone that Paimon's never seen before.
How much do you know about Fontanian history? Well, then maybe you haven't heard the story of ancient Lemuria. To give you a quick rundown, Fontaine used to be ruled by, according to legend, the Lemurian king Remus came to this land after being inspired by divine revelation and found the seer Sibila, who had taken on the form of a golden bee. Taking the golden bee with him and riding on a huge ship, he called his nation Lemuria and used the Fortuna to incessantly search for new tribes and islands, calling on them to join his empire.
There's a ship in this story too?
Where there's water, there'll be ships. People believe that hope can always be—
Do you believe that too?
To a point, I think. As you've already seen, I have a whole factory's worth of labor, materials, and technology at my disposal. So the moment I began to speculate that the Primordial Sea might lie underneath the gate, I also began this project.
Were you inspired by the legendary Fortuna?
Maybe. Fontanians need something to hold on to cope with the impending disaster. Were the workers to find out the truth behind this ship, riots would destroy the fortress. As the fortress's administrator, I'd never make such a reckless— All right, that's enough talking for now. I'll need another 3 cups of tea to soothe my throat. Seems like you're good. I'll leave you here for now.
Oh, thank you so much.
No worries. But don't forget, it's up to you whether or not you want to share what you just saw. What you do from here on out will likely affect those 3 as—
Yeah, we'll put a lot of thought into it for sure.
Great. I look forward to what happens next.
Welcome back. Do you want a cup of tea?
How can you be so much like Risley? Always—
Huh. Actually, now that you mention, while I was sedated, I could still barely hear 2 people talking next to me. They were—
Must have been Risley and Sijun.
Yeah, I heard 1 male voice and 1 female, so it should have been the 2.
I really can't make sense of this
So, Traveler, Paimon, were you able to learn—
Yeah, it's—
Very well. Then, would you mind checking your answers against my speculations? Yeah, I took the time to rest, so I'm feeling a lot more relaxed now.
Nobody else is around, and Miss Sijun is also busy with something or—
All right, then I'll posit my theories. I asked myself 3. Firstly, why was Fremine affected by the primordial seawater? It was because he dove into the sea.
Ooh, he's good.
That's our Lenny.
Secondly, Risley's attitude changed dramatically during the course of our stay here. He ignored us completely. I spent quite a long time thinking about this. If he has been monitoring the Fatui since— What's more, The Fortress of Meripede is not part of Fontaine's court system, nor does it report to Udex Nervulet. As long as the fortress doesn't do anything about Master Child's disappearance, Father can use it to pressure the Fontaine authorities. And while the two factions are pitted against each other, Wriothesley will be free to move between the parties of interest. If I had to guess, he probably has something that he's working on himself. It's likely related to the secret.
You're super smart.
Thanks so much. If Wriothesley does have a plan, what could it be? All I know for now is that his plan probably has something to do with... that can't be the full extent of what he's doing. There's probably a secret passageway behind the block in the infirmary, and there's something big in the fortress that most people here never get to see. He has a bargaining chip, and it could be important, and I don't have enough information, so I have no idea what his chip might be.
I can't believe it.
The sea will engulf everyone. Just like the...
Could Wriothesley have wanted to meet Father to figure out a way to deal with this crisis? If you remember, I once mentioned that Father sees the House of the Hearth as her base of operations, and she truly wants to resolve the crisis.
Or perhaps he didn't know, and just wanted to bring Father over to his side? Which could be why he said he just wanted to negotiate.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I understand your concerns as well, Traveler. I'll figure out a way to pass this on to our father. The two of you have already aided us far too much. We probably wouldn't be standing here right now if not for you. If you ever need anything else going forward, please come to the House of the Hearth at any... Though you may not share the sentiment, after all that we've gone through together, the three of us basically see you as family now.
You have my gratitude.
Thank you for protecting Linny when it really mattered. And thank you for sharing the secrets of the fortress with us. We didn't think you were going to do it.
Why are you being so formal all of a sudden?
Given your strength, you might not need our help at all. But if you are ever in danger, we will try our best to protect you.
Aww, the sound of that makes Paimon feel all warm and safe inside. Paimon's hungry.
Oh, you've done...
Alright, then we'll
It's time for dinner. Welfare meals now being...
Come on, let's go pick up ours as well. Traveler and Paimon, over here. Are you here for dinner too, Miss Sijwin? And I'm taking the opportunity to prepare... Huh. You're right. What would you like to eat? Yep, you can. I've already talked to our chef, Mr. Wolsey. It's all on me today, so you can get whatever you'd like. Me too! Don't forget Paimon! No problem. Just leave it to me. so delicious. Is this how it feels to be freeloaders? Feeling full yet? How's the food? Delicious! I'm so glad to see you all so happy. Oh, see, the express... Sigewin? Do you do this to help your patients or to better understand human... a bit of both, I suppose. I'm a Melazine, which means I'm very different from human beings. I must know what you're thinking if I want to take good care of you. You're really good at taking care of people. Even though you're so short, you still talk and act like an older... Really? You're reminded of an older... Oh, and what did you mean back in Risley's office? When you said that you were protecting Linny and his... Oh, that. I just asked His Grace to look out for those children, especially that diver boy. I was getting a bit worried after hearing that something was wrong with the... Thankfully, Glorand is very strong and managed to save him in the nick of time. His Grace also sealed the pipes after Glorand left, but to make sure that Linny would... Although the path was blocked, we still stationed some guards there to stop anyone from approaching. They were instructed to only open the door... Oh, and I was keeping an eye on Mr. Linny as well. We had to press him, but we couldn't allow... You were all super It's just what we do down here at the fortress. At least... I really wish Monsieur Nervula would come down here more often, too. Get a good night's rest, you two. You... much is I'm on super sleep. Delicious.
Out of my way! What happened? Why is everyone running? No idea, but something must have happened. Stop asking!
Who's... What happened? Why is everyone running around? Hey! What are you doing?
No time to explain, mate. Goodbye!
Hey, wait! What's wrong with these people? They won't even
They're here! Yeah! There you are!
Oh, thank goodness!
Quisto and Laveroon, do you know what happened here?
We came here especially to inform you. Something seems to have gone terribly wrong. Just Laveroon was saying you two are new here and you don't have many friends, so you might slip through the cracks. Haven't you heard all the stories like that? An evacuation is successfully completed, yet you only find—
Wait, weren't you the one who brought that up? Why is it—
Hey, shut up!
Okay, whatever. The point is, you should come with us. Yeah, he said to get as far away as possible.
Oh no, it can't be that thing!
Whoa, wait, what? What? Hey, where are you—
We have to go find the Duke! You two just go and get out! Go on without us!
Hey, hey! Be careful!
Attention! Please evacuate upwards and outwards, upwards and outwards. If you're already at the topmost layer,
They're here.
Just like I said.
What happened?
Huh.
You're just in time. But be ready to run. Three, two, one.
This won't hold it for long. Find Neuvillette. Tell him the defenses are about to collapse.
Then what will happen to you?
Until he arrives, we're the last line of defense. The gate. How long do you think it'll hold?
That depends on us.
Neuvillette? Why are you here?
Traveler, I need you to head to the Opera House immediately. Farina will soon be meeting with the knave there. You must protect Farina, and make sure she doesn't spend too much time alone. Will do. You have...
Look! There are a ton of Fatilian Palais Mermonia people!
Are you two the Traveler and Paimon? Though I'm sure he's already explained, this should be a mostly cordial conversation, unlikely to give rise to violence. But it would be most appreciated if you...
Oh, so you two are the honored guests Miss Farina mentioned.
Of course, of course! How could they not attend a meeting such as this? I must always have 2 or more guests at my dessert table. Otherwise, the occasion would be too lonely and unbecoming of my station.
It is my pleasure to make your acquaintance, Traveler. I have heard much of your accomplishments. I am the Knave, one of the 11 Fatui Harbingers.
I've already prepared seats for you. Come, sit beside me.
Perhaps you two are unaware of how Miss Farina and I do things. You see, we actually recently agreed to get together for tea when we had the time. See this? This is a limited type of confectionery that Miss Farina simply adores. There are only 16 slices sold every day. Here, why don't you and Paimon have a taste?
Traveler, what do you think of this cake?
That's good to hear. So what Child said was on the mark after all. You do share a taste in desserts with Farina and I. I wonder how he's doing nowadays. You must have heard, right? He's suddenly gone missing. I'm really worried about his safety, you know.
Since we're talking about him, I feel like I should add something. His martial prowess really looked certainly pretty impressive, yeah.
Oh, so you're also familiar with his aptitude for fighting, Miss Farina. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Child was subdued by Udex Neuvillette right in front of you. Against ordinary people, my colleague would never be on the back foot. But alas, he just never imagined he'd run into such a person. I must express my admiration for Monsieur Neuvillette. Coming from you, that's not surprising at all.
But I thought you would be happier to hear the news.
Of course, but it's still a bit of a shame. You see, I would have been far happier had I received this news somewhat earlier, as you well know.
Well, in any case, there's no need to worry. We know for sure that child is still alive.
Oh. And just how do you know that?
Because we found evidence that proved he left the Fortress of Meripede.
And where did he go after leaving the fortress?
Well...
The Fortress of Meripede lies deep beneath the waves. Unless he pranced right out of the main gate, he must have had to swim for it. Do you have any proof that he surfaced safely? Ah, that is good news at least. His sister Tonya sent a letter to Fontaine not too long ago. Since he was unfortunately unavailable, I picked it up on his behalf. Do you have any idea how he usually writes back to his family? Dear Tonya, your letter made me feel like we were still enjoying our time in Snezhnaya together. I'm currently admiring the scenery on the streets in front of the Opera House.
All letters tend to follow the same few formats anyway, right? As long as the contents are accurate, it doesn't matter so much how it's written or how...
Hold on. The water in the teacup is shaking.
I suppose this is also a sign of things to come, Miss Farina.
I don't quite understand what you're trying...
Have we entered into the next stage of the prophecy?
My thanks to you both. I will take it from here.
Sure you don't need a hand?
Quite sure.
Wow. So, what's your secret, huh? Let me guess. Nah, who knows? Maybe it's just your sense of responsibility.
Sounds about right.
Day may come when the prophecy is fulfilled, and the waters burst forth. But it is not this day! This ancient power could easily obliterate an entire race. A tsunami of fury would unleash endless catastrophe. This sentence is too severe. Forgive me for overruling it.
All right. Seems like the problem inside has been suppressed.
Let me guess, we're safe for now.
Indeed. But only for now.
I win this bet. You owe me a present.
Very well. It wasn't...
You made a bet?
We made a bet on the size of your entourage. Cloran thought you wouldn't come down by yourself.
I figured you would have at least brought a few people along for appearance's sake. It appears I underestimated just how confidential the mission was.
Shouldn't you have gotten used to confidential missions by now? That's just how the courts operate.
So what gift must the loser give? Tea?
He already has tons of tea in his office. I'm thinking about a set of legal codices.
That wouldn't happen to be a dig at my lack of legal awareness, would it?
Well, I'm sure His Grace doesn't consider the fortress to be outside the law.
I was under the impression the residents of a place like this would be uninterested in the legal codices.
That was obviously a joke. Anyway, you've still got some unfinished business to attend to in the overworld, correct?
No need to stay here if you have a pressing matter. We all know you can't leave Palais Mermonia for long.
Thank you. I hope everything went smoothly with the Fatui.
I must say, we've spent long enough playing Miss Farina. As the Hydro Archon, I am sure you understand the exact meaning of the phenomenon we just witnessed. Or should I say, that's what I originally thought.
What are you trying to say?
At this point, I don't think there's any more need to speak as diplomatic representatives. Allow me to speak to you now as just a Fontanian. You know the prophecy by heart, and also that every part of it is being proven true. Yet, here you are, relaxing, drinking tea, and eating desserts as if it's all nothing more than a few stray bugs in your gut. The prophecy's hanging above our necks like a guillotine. Every faction is looking for a way to either avert the disaster or save their own. Even the orphans of the House of the Hearth have devoted everything to save, but you? It beggars belief just how nonchalant and carefree you have been. From the very beginning, you, the god Focalor, you have utterly failed to take action.
You're wrong. I've never ignored the prophecy, nor have I just been passing the time in self-indulgence. Retract your accusation and stop doubting the wisdom of the gods with such absurd conjectures.
I am not alone in my doubts, you know. All the children of Fontaine may be harboring the exact same thoughts right now. Oh, great Hydro Archon. How are you going to save them? Save us? How are the people you've sworn to protect supposed to survive in a land that will soon disappear beneath the waves?
I have my ways, and I've been working on them for all this time. Even if you look down upon me, you have no right to judge me. Fontaine will be saved. Even if I still cannot see the true future right now, as long as I continue on as I am, I will be able to hold my head up high.
Then I ask you, Miss Farina, just what have you been working on? Where can we see it, and what is it doing to help?
My machinations are just like the prophecy itself. They will only reveal themselves at the fated time. It is just that beings like yourselves are unable to perceive them as
I see. As a god, the proof of your labor always lies beyond prying mortal eyes. Allow me to be so bold as to ask another way. Would it be possible for you to tell us the parts of your plan that are not confidential? Such as your emergency response plan for the impending disaster?
An emergency...
Oh, that look in your eyes. Have you...
The emergency response plan is also strictly confidential.
Then allow me to jog your memory. Miss Farina, what is the purpose of your Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal? And what do you plan to do with the massive amounts of indemnitium that has accumulated over the years?
The Oratrice? It's just like it appears to be.
So you also have no idea. If I'm not mistaken, someone's using it to prepare for something. But unfortunately, it would seem that someone is not you, Miss Farina. I first caught wind of this when Linny tried to investigate the Oratrice in the Opera House. You see, even just getting close to the core contaminated him with an extremely large amount of indemnitium. But even if that had nothing to do with you, then what could you possibly be working on, oh great Hydro Archon? Oh, right. I almost forgot. Udex Nouvillette is not at the tea party with us today. Miss Farina, I suppose you must have ordered him away to take...
Yeah, yes, that's exactly right.
Of course I will. Although, I must say, Miss Farina, you seem quite insecure without the Oh, very well. Let's stop that conversation here. There are still a few slices of cake left, so please, help yourselves, everyone. Traveler, I heard that you were recently commissioned to handle a few matters on behalf of the Udex. Why don't you take an extra slice of cake? Those who work hard. You too, Paimon.
Thank you. Oh, Paimon's super
If it's on my tea table, it must be of the highest quality.
You're welcome. I'm sure the cake also felt greatly honored to be featured at Miss Farina's table. And I was merely catering to Miss Farina's tastes. It is getting late. Why don't we call it a day? There are still a few matters.
Very well. We'll end it here.
Mind seeing me off, Traveler? We could use the opportunity to discuss Child before...
Paimon's coming too!
The tea party turned out to... Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm glad that you were willing to come with me. Of course, Child was just an excuse. I have no interest in your dealings with him.
That's what Paimon thought.
You lent your aid to the children of the House of the Hearth. As their father, I would like to express my gratitude. Do I look like an irresponsible father to you? The House of the Hearth is very important to me. You should know that I care deeply about my children. That was all. Formal topics should be discussed in formal settings, and informal topics in informal settings. I know you just returned from the fortress of Meripede. Relax. I have no intention of trying to get anything out of you. Linny, Lynette, and Fremine are still there, and I trust their judgment and abilities.
They've all been working working very hard and have always done all they can to fight back against anyone who tried to stop them. Especially Lenny.
You mean Wriothesley. He's a tricky one to deal with. It's unfortunate that Lenny's so eager to prove himself that he can't learn to rely on others, including me. By the way, and you can just consider this a bit of idle gossip, but what's your impression of Furina? You are outside of our disputes, and the freest person in all of Fontaine, able to move around most easily. Allow me to share my perspective with you.
And that's everything that happened during the trial. Master Child was declared guilty and immediately transported to the Fortress of Meropide.
Didn't he say he was coming here on vacation? Does he not feel an ounce of shame for all the trouble he has caused? Forget it. He did give us an opportunity. I will be meeting someone shortly.
Do you require help with any preparations?
No need. I will take care of it myself. I need to meet with Furina, the Hydro Archon. She is at the heart of Fontaine. But what's fascinating about her is that she often seems more like a celebrity than a working Archon.
Oh? Come over here, you little critter, you! You dare to run from me? Stop right this in-
My goal is just to discover the location of the Gnosis. But I didn't expect the chance to approach Furina to be handed to me on a silver platter. This is so easy, it's actually making me a bit suspicious. Anything left unguarded is usually just bait. But no one will blame someone for taking the bait. After all, from the moment it was attached to the hook, the bait is meant to be sacrificed. It's just as I guessed in the second before I struck. The Hydrognosis is not currently held by the Archon. In fact, this Archon doesn't seem like a god at all. And I sense that she's under some kind of curse.
Who are you? And what are you trying to do? Please don't kill me!
The fear in her pupils is genuine, so perhaps she's not bait after all. Either way, targeting her has lost all meaning. I left the scene with ease. Nobody came looking for me, and nobody could serve as a witness to my near assassination of Focalor. I suspect even Furina dares not mention this incident to anyone. Not long after, my informants confirmed what I had guessed. After returning to her quarters, Furina quietly cried alone. She was so scared that she could not sleep that night, nor could she even bring herself to eat her cake. There's no doubt that there's something wrong with her. I began to entertain the possibility that she is not the true Hydro Archon. Perhaps Iudex Neuvillette is actually the genuine article. I have to find the Gnosis. If the Neuvillette hypothesis is correct, he is probably in possession of it. Alternatively, it might have been hidden in a place that's hard for ordinary people to access.
Yes, Father.
My dear children, please speak.
News from the Fortress of Meropide. Master Child has gone missing. On top of that, the contacts and guards we bribed at the fortress have all gone quiet as well.
Probably the handiwork of that Wriothesley.
I'm afraid so.
This is a good opportunity. The value of a Harbinger is much higher than most would imagine. We now have an excuse to exert diplomatic pressure on the Fontaine authorities. Set up a meeting for me. I would like to meet the Hydro Archon and Iudex Neuvillette. Oh, and I have an additional mission for you three.
Yes, Father.
Tartaglia's disappearance was not a part of my plan, but I can use it to make a breakthrough. With this as my excuse, I can ask for an official audience and continue my investigation of Farina and Iudex Neuvillette. The initiative belongs to the House of the Hearth. My wish to investigate the Fortress of Meripede will be a front. Linny and his group will be responsible for the actual intelligence gathering. You should know the rest. Linny's group is quite close to you, so they wouldn't have hidden anything from you.
You attacked the Hydro Archon?
It wouldn't mean anything, even if you shouted it from the rooftops. After all, even Farina herself is still pretending that nothing of that sort ever happened.
Alright then.
I've now had 2 chances to enjoy tea with Farina. I have to say, the leadership of Fontaine is even more inscrutable than I had imagined. I once surmised that Iudex Neuvillette must be the Hydro Archon, but now, that doesn't seem right to me either. I am a servant of Her Majesty the Tsaritsa. Over my years of service, I've learned how a real Archon conducts and carries themselves. Whether Iudex Neuvillette or Farina, neither fits the bill. It's hard to imagine either of them as the Archon. Of course, that is all just how I feel. Gut feelings often do not require justification. It is, however, quite amusing to me that after all my years working in intelligence gathering, I've come to realize I am at a complete loss regarding the identity of the god of the land of my birth. Don't you think Fontaine is quite intriguing? A catastrophe looms, yet many secrets have yet to rise to the surface. It looks like Fontainians will have no choice but to save themselves. Ultimately, though, one must survive in order to do anything else. Should the need arise, I would be happy to cooperate with you. You don't need to commit to anything right now, of course. I have a feeling that the situation will continue to evolve, and as your name is often connected with noble deeds, I'm sure we will work together someday. He certainly returned quickly. You must want to catch up with each other, so I'll leave you to him.
Neuvillette, is it over?
For now, yes. But this issue will prove quite thorny in the long term. I'm concerned that sooner or later the prophesized events will occur. Thank you for protecting Farina. To put it simply, I used my power to force back the Primordial Sea and reseal the sluice gate. So as expected, the Knave has turned up the pressure on Farina. She's trying to feel her out, but permission granted.
Whoa. It can't be that you're the real Hydro Archon, right? But that's just a speculation. You can't tell us? Then that's okay. We can talk about something else. We won't try to force you.
If by the phrase, you guys, you are referring to Farina and I, then although I'm not sure just what you are trying to imply, I must clarify that I do not share her positions on a multitude of topics. I believe so. The fortress has a long and complex history. It has seen much grief and suffering. And now, another catastrophe will soon be upon us. I mourn this turn of events.
Huh? Why is it raining all of a sudden?
You may be closer to the truth than you think.
Oh? And what are you thinking? The dragon of... Huh?
Please do not be so surprised. Farina? My apologies.
We were just guessing randomly. We didn't guess right, did we? You're not actually the dragon's son.
You guessed correctly. I sincerely hope you'll be able to keep this a secret for me.
Right, of course. We'll definitely help you keep it a secret. There's still something Paimon wants to ask you, though.
Please, go ahead.
Well, if you are the dragon sovereign of water, and you were able to force back the then since Fontaine's prophecy is all about seawater, couldn't you just use your power to solve the...
None of the currently living dragon sovereigns in the world, myself included, possess our full dragonhood. They say that when the first usurper arrived on Tivat, they seized a part of the dragon's power. Today, that stolen power is the basis of the Archon's authorities.
There are 7 elemental archons and 7 matching dragon sovereigns.
The dragon sovereign of water who lived through that era perished a long time ago. As their successor, I know far less of that part of our ancient history. In any case, I believe I will not be able to do much unless the Archon disappears and returns their elemental authority to me. Given the status quo, however, I would recommend finding another way to deal with it.
Oh, so even you can't solve it.
I still have some urgent matters to attend to at my office. If you have any more questions regarding...
Please go right ahead. There's a place that Paimon wants to go too. Traveler, why don't we pay another visit to the Fortress of Meripede? Paimon is a little worried. We'll see you another time.
Take care.
Now guess, what suit will this next card be?
A bare-teeth cat?
Well, well, look who it is.
Traveler, Paimon.
Looks like you're recovering nicely.
Thanks to everyone's support. Oh, right. I managed to work.
Whoa, how did she react?
She told me that it was nothing.
She didn't want to stress you out, that's all. She's right, and it's best not to dwell on it.
Yeah.
Okay, but check this out. We went back to the
You meant father? Did she say anything to you?
She said a few things that were, a bit hard to understand. And also that she's...
Her attitude towards you is even better than what we'd imagined. That's fantastic. You should believe her. She has her own way of doing things, and she'll do everything in her power to help those she considers close, which now might also include you.
Father is very capable.
Oh, Paimon just remembered that she thought Lenny was a bit too proud as well. She said that you should learn how to rely on others sometimes.
Got it.
That does sound like...
Hey!
Are you going to stay here?
Looks like it, yeah.
Excellent. I will host it.
For real? Then Paimon wants another serving of cake.
Another implies that you were already served some delicious... Well, next time, you're going to have tea and snacks with... We should start preparing that.
Oh, that's a...
I'll help you set it up.
Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever.
Seedwing! Traveler, Paimon, you're back. Are you still doing all right? We're fine, but what about you? A few people sustained superficial injuries, but that's about the extent of the damage. Oh, of course, we must... How did Nervalet know? I'm sure Nervalet has strong resonance with the hydro element. When the water level I ran into the bombshell bros while bandaging the injuries of the wounded. They were mumbling the whole time. If you're not too pressed for time, please stay with us a few more days. Just let me know if you get a craving for any particular dish, so I can have Mr. Walsey get your meals prepared. I'd like to take the opportunity to spend some more time observing your facial muscles as...
You guys are back?
You guys didn't get caught and thrown back down?
And here I thought you'd managed to escape from jail during all the
All right, there's no need to get caught up in the...
Hey, it wasn't just me.
I was also transferred to work in the kitchen a few days ago. Whenever he'd say that, I'd tell him I'm sure they're...
Hey, there's nothing wrong with worrying about your...
These two. They sure are a lot warmer and friendlier than when Paimon first met them.
Oh, well, if you say so. I'll be...
Jurier.
Yeah, I was working on something, so I forgot.
That's no excuse for...
Jurier, Lurvine, we're back!
Hello there. It's been quite the mess here recently.
And you? Are you still taking the...
Yep. That is...
It can be a bit annoying when there are lots of people in the
I mean, the infirmary does make it easier for you to slack off.
Oh, yeah? Then why are you...
You two really are just using your jobs as a cover for your...
Not at all!
Do my eyes deceive me, or did I just see two inmates come?
We wanted to see how the fortress is doing. Is everything...
We're fine, for the most part. Neuvillette came to...
If that's the case, why don't you just ask him to...
Oh, yeah, what a brilliant plan. He came here in a hurry and left without even stopping for a cup of tea.
He sure sounds super busy.
Miss Clorand has left as well. She also took her gift from Missy.
Were the gifts milkshakes?
Neuvillette got the milkshake. Clorand received lipstick.
Those aren't even remotely alike.
Well, it's Neuvillette's own fault for making Sigewinne worried about his health by working so much. But besides that, our head nurse is... Oh, and I have some gifts here for you as well.
Are these from Sigewinne too?
Nope, they're from yours truly. You've already wrapped up your work at the fortress, so you can return to the surface at any time. You haven't yet served your full prison term, however, so...
For real? Then we could stay here for a really long time?
You may access the cafeteria for... Hooray! Just remember to come complete your paperwork once it's time for your release.
We're back in our cell again. We're no longer prisoners, though, so it really doesn't feel the same. Sure feels that way. But the truth is, we never did anything bad to begin with, so I'm not sure why we put so much pressure on ourselves. No. Hey, it's like, we've now, there are so many bad things in the world, and you're counting Paimon today? Aren't you the only adventurer here? Then let's ask Catherine to give Paimon an adventurer handbook as well. Paimon will also be an adventurer from today forward. Just our thoughts making Paimon giddy. Paimon's gonna crash, so you sleep soon too. The last time we fell asleep here, we woke up to a whole mess outside ourselves. The primordial seawater nearly rose up. That was so scary. We should be safe now, right? Alright then, good night to you, traveler.
All the holds is the backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchained.